Samuel and Redford.
We're ready to get started with Nikki.
Right, I think you clapping. Okay, so whispers and touches in business are not as creepy as it sounds, right? In fact, if you want to grow, those are both key ingredients for the recipe of success. My name is Nikki R. Jones. I'm a communication strategist. I work with leaders and executives and CEOs, much like yourself, who want to be empowered to use communication to shift their audience from curious, connected, and then compliant. In some cases, to predictive. Now, I believe that all of you have an exquisite expertise. This is not fast food. This is when you go to a fancy restaurant and you have your side of the plate. So then what you're offering is the exquisite dish right in the middle that's mouth-watering for everyone. But what happens is your exquisite expertise and the people who need you most, they're way over here. There's a very big gap. So where I come in is I create messaging that is compelling, that is strategic, and that is inviting. So that it whispers in the ears, as I said in the beginning, and it speaks or touches the hearts of the people who need you most. So a little about my background. For a while, okay, I worked at a nonprofit advocacy organization, and I was the communications director there. So we were the hell no, we won't go fighting at the Capitol getting arrested. Not me, because I needed to be free to talk to the press, but I was there. But that is where I learned the power of voice, the power of story and messaging, and what happens when you mix them together. Then I went on to work at state government, where I was the spokesperson and communications manager for the retirement system and for a multi-billion-dollar investment program. I left there. 2 weeks later, I landed in Morocco for my first client, a nonprofit with national presence, and had to walk through sheep to get to my office. I'll tell you about that later. So I came back to the States and I worked with other nonprofit leaders. I worked with small business leaders in accounting, in law, in beauty, in consulting and coaching industries. But what I realized is I was doing them a disservice. I loved it, they loved it about 95% of the time. But what happened is I was piecemealing out my expertise. So when I was writing copy, those sales pages, what you see on the pages to get people to say, wait a minute, I do these stocks and lights. Maybe more realistically, I do need to join that coaching program to launch my business. Someone wrote that language, but my clients also needed videos. So I had to write scripts for them, right? And they didn't know what to say. And then they didn't know when to raise their voice or when to insert a dramatic pause. So then there's speech prep there. But I also had a client who came to me with a 911 communications emergency. And I said, oh, what? Yes, I'm ready. And she said, well, I'm speaking on a panel. They need some questions and I don't know what to do. So we strategized the end goal. We created the messaging that she wanted to give. We created those lead questions, and then we strategized how to use that messaging to invite the next people. So a few weeks ago, I was laying on the floor in a hotel in Austin crying. It sounds bad, but it was self-empowerment. I'll tell you about that later. However, I had a wonderful time through those tears and that caregiver stared at me, and I figured out exactly what I want to do. So what I did is, instead of piecemealing my skill set to leaders and executives like yourself, I am bringing a full suite of communication support to them. So when they need help with speeches and speech writing, this right here is a speech in case you don't know. And when they need help with messaging that will invite the people who need them, they can come to me. So our engagement would look like a 6-month one-on-one period at minimum. It would include strategy, it would include execution, it would include some bit of copywriting, the speech prep, media prep, if they're going on a media blitz, if they're launching a new program, and then you have strategy around how to communicate to the audience, if they need to have to create strategy around content, I would be there for that. Now I want to say this. You've all seen Price is Right. There's a game, there's a mountain, there's a person going up that mountain, it's horrible music. You know what I'm talking about? All right, I hate that music. I see myself as the person standing next to you, and you being that person going up the mountain. You're a little hunched over because you got all the responsibilities on your back. But when you take that communications piece off and hand it to me, you can stand up a little bit straighter, walk a little bit faster, but I'm next to you. Again, this is a fully customized engagement and a partnership. It is a partnership. I should create a better title for it, but it is a partnership. And what I'm looking for are people who are heart-led, people who understand that they have a purpose, people whose work, people whose offering impacts lives and transforms and invites people to what is possible. So, with media prep, with messaging, with all the content strategy, we are going to connect to audiences in a way that sometimes you just can't do alone. Because again, your expertise might be accounting, your expertise might be book writing. My expertise is to bridge that gap between your expertise and the people who need you most. The support I'm looking for today are, listen, if you're sitting here and you're like, what in the hell? Then I want to hear that. I want us to be able to work through it. I also want to have introductions to people who are heart-led, people who are purpose-driven, people who have a message to get out, people who are changing lives with their products, with their service, and with their offering. So if you have advice on where those people is out, if you want to give those people my number, if you want to get on FaceTime right now, we can do that as well. But this is the support that I'm looking for. The candid reactions, things that maybe I didn't do before. It doesn't work like this, or put you at this, and also against adjustments on finding partners. Thank you.
It's fair, well done.